Because it's that.
Okay, so let's finish up
Maybe
with the
Rebecca.
Hydra.
It does it to me when people
So,
say like, hey, it's
the
like,
Hydra
maybe,
is
like,
our beast,
That's kind of creepy.
3.9.
and it goes to
This is a
Scorpio.
CEO.
Yeah.
No. Near children.
Guys, listen up. We don't have much time, and I want to do a few games. So, what page? Beast and Monsters, 278. So I want you to see this image. Did you find the Hangman card, by the way?
Yes,
Right there.
it's right here.
Okay, I'll get to that in a second.
Oh, okay.
And there's different beasts, but they're all very unattractive. Okay? That is what I want you to ingrain in your head. When you are greedy, when you are envious, when you're manipulating, when you're lying, I want you to have ingrained in your head that your Hydra.
My picture looks prettier than that.
Okay, no pretty, no. So take a look at the Beast and Monsters. So, why did I tell you about the value in the second and the sex and the Hydra in the eighth? Why did I tell you about you can't name your price if you don't know your place? And I said I wanted to show you this card. This card is the Hanged Man. This is the only card in a deck that is backwards, naturally, right? He's upside down. He is making a number 4 with his legs. What's the number 4 mean?
Death.
Okay, death and what else?
And
Right? Number one is real prayer.
Poland. No.
No, not
The earth, the body.
The earth, the body.
That's right.
The earth and the body is the value.
You said
That your body or your money is more important than your spirit. So he is exchanging currency. Look at the little coins. He's letting go of his monetary value, his earthly belongings, to honor the spirit, to honor his Christ within. This card in the deck, the one I got twice today, that's why I'm losing and shedding my hair, and my serpent is shedding its skins, and that's why these things happen. Because we're literally shedding things from our body. That's why things are taken from us. And we have to lose something in order to really see our beast. And then with the new energy, we come out of the subconscious, a new person, out of the underworld. We return home, and then we write a book, which is our second chakra, and we create something new. This is the most important axis in the chart. So if nothing else, you can do 12 cards, look at the 2-8 axis, and you know the value system that we're dealing with. And so we're going to do Marsha. What happened to 7? Oh, here it is. And we have 2-8. So Marsha is arts and science, the 1 card, wholeness, with delusion. So you have a delusion around your worth. Okay? Perhaps, and this is a spiritual surrender card. Okay? It's a number 7. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 is the number of the spirit. And it's a card where she's surrendering to something divine. You're delusional because you're surrendering to not having surgery because you think it's more divine than your mother's slutty behavior and her body image. So this is delusional. And it's also that you're delusional about your worth, that you're not smart. And that your opinion or intellect or decisions, because everything written is all about the mind, is delusional. Your opinion is no less than your mother's and your spouse's. Clear? This is super, super important. the 2-8. Okay, I'm going to tell you the rest of the meanings of the axes, and if there's a few other keywords, and then we'll do the, you wanted to do the body game. And you can tell me a story maybe for another day. And I want everyone to throw the dice once. Okay, where's my little handout? Okay. Did you get your handouts? Okay, so, third house, it's the 3-9. This is the intellect axis.
Oh, that's nice.
That's yours? Is that what you said?
That's what I am all about.
Right. And so, interestingly enough, yours, higher education, philosophy is the 9. But it needs to be balanced with the logical sort of earthly mind. It can't all be spiritual and angelic, sort of theories. You've got to be down rooted in the earth. The 4th I told you was the parents. Now let me read what the 3rd house says. Mindset, thinking, speaking, siblings. This is also the house of neighbors. Okay? This is the house of, like, the people in your proximity. So you guys are all 3rd house for the other people. So if someone comes to me and says, oh my God, I'm in this psychology class, the teacher's a whack job, my friends in the class are losers, I would go to the 3rd 9 axis. And it happens to be that it's school, 9. And the friends or the colleagues, 3. 4, 5. Okay, I want you to put for the 410, not 4, 5. In the 4th, I want you to know that it's the inner God. This personal mythology. It's the home. And remember, we're talking about the home is the inner home, but it's also the return home from the hero that we talked about from Prometheus, the prodigal son, and Chiron. Okay? So the 4th axis is that. The fourth axis also has to do, the 4th house also has to do with childhood to death. Every single thing that happens in this axis, not in the axis, I keep saying that, in this house, has to do from childhood to death. It's your lifespan. Can anyone guess why? Because it's on the board and it makes a triangle.
Line?
No. It's like an arrow up. The answer.
Your parents?
Your parents! Because what do your parents give you? They give you life.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, they don't give you love. They give you love, but conditional love. They give you life, and according to Bert Hellinger, that's enough. But the answer that I'm looking for is your parents give you your origin story.
Yeah.
That lasts from conception to death. And really, according to my model, I should put conception. And this is also the house of the moon. Ironically, not so much. It's your whole life that you're supposed to kill off. Okay? And the 10 has to do with your profession, has to do with your professional status, your work, and again, your parents. The 5-11, most people have difficulty with the 5-11. This is a house of children, real estate, but really it's the house of creation. Whatever you create from the second chakra, right? What did I tell you once you kill your beast? You get. Once you kill your beast, once you go down to the subconscious, you leave home. We have to remember
Alignment?
we leave home, we go down into the underworld, we fight our beast, we realize that we're not humble, we realize we're not patient. Those are all my beasts, that I'm Jafar, an egomaniac.
Oh, you come back home and you create
I get cancer. I not chop off the head of the Hydra, but in the story of Hercules, every time he chopped off the head of the Hydra, 2 more heads grew. And eventually there was like 16 heads. And Chiron in the Disney version, he's like, stop doing that. you're not winning because there were more and more heads, and the more heads were swallowing. If you try to repress, it's going to come back stronger. What you resist persists. You go on a diet and you don't allow yourself a cheat day, you're going to pig out the exact many days, the exact number of days that you dieted, you're going to pig out.
That's the truth.
Exact. It's a law. The law of the pendulum, the 0 to 100. So you need to give yourself some wiggle room to take a breath. Because if you do this, you're topping off your hydra, and it's going to come out with 16 heads instead of 1. So, how did the myth of Hercules end with the hydra? Anyone guess? What element is the triangle?
Used it with Earth.
What was that? No, element. Fire, earth, air, or water.
Air?
No,
This is from science.
Oh, fire.
Fire. What does the delta mean?
Yeah.
What word?
The what?
Transformation. Yes.
Oh, oh, wait,
So Hercules could not kill the Hydra.
she saw herself, right? No.
No, that's Medusa.
That's Medusa.
And Percy Jackson.
Yeah. I'm just trying to,
I know they're all convoluted, and you know there's 100 different versions of each of these. So I give you the story that I work with. More or less, it's the symbol in it. So he could not kill off the Hydra heads because they would grow more. He had to use fire to transform the Hydra into something else. You cannot kill off your beast. If it's infidelity, if it's manipulation, if it's greed, if it's hubris, impatience, indolence, anger, it doesn't matter what it is. You can only transform it. So what did Hercules do? He took his handy-dandy little club, it was on fire, and he severed the heads. Fire. He used fire. Who else used fire?
God. Sodom and Gomorrah.
Eh.
I don't know.
Prometheus used fire. He stole the fire from the gods and gave it to the humans so that we could cook our food, so that we could keep warm, so that we can transform. Think of warm equals transform. Okay?
That's what they said.
So, when he, poster, no, handout, when you put fire and you transform your beast into something usable, then you don't kill your beast. You never kill your beast. Do not think that what you suffer from in this lifetime is ever going the fuck away. It's not. Do not convince your client that they can ever change 100%. Because what changes?
Behavior.
Behavior, not tendency. So if you think you're going to change your beast, that is behavior change. It's not essence or tendency. And if you think you're going to eradicate your beast, wrong, and you're going to screw up your client. Because when they can't, they're upset. When the book The Secret came out and the movie, everybody got screwed over because they never explained to people that, first of all, it's increasingly difficult to change your subconscious. Practically impossible. That's why Marsha and I don't know what the hell to do. We're aware and that's it. Hell, we don't even know how to integrate. She might get surgery, I'll do the chemo, but what the hell, I don't know. You think I'm going to be patient ever? Seriously? Come on now. I can take out all the hair 10 times. I'm not a patient person. And she can't heal really to the root of what happened to her in childhood. It's going to carry her to the grave. That's too intense of a wound. Chiron never healed his wound. He had to die in order to stop with the pain, people. The pain is why we're here. Buddha said it. Pain is necessary. Suffering isn't necessary. That's optional. That you suffer and suffer and suffer and suffer about it is different. Accepting that it sucks and she's never going to have had a happy childhood is just a reality she is to accept. I won't have hair in a few days. I have to accept that reality. Like, these are just things we have to accept. That's very difficult. But if we continue suffering because of it, and I will, of course, because I'll mention it 500 times, and then James and I will take 2 baldy pictures as the bald and bougies.
Yep.
That's going to be our class
we do.
mascot, bald and bougies. The psychology team, bald and bougies. So we can't think that we're going to change, eradicate, or not change, you can change, eradicate. You can transform and change your beast. So he needed to use fire in order to give that symbolism to us. Jesus died and reborn, just like you said, Rebecca. This is the sign of transformation, the cross of transformation. There's a death and a rebirth. All you are doing over and over and over again is taking your one little thread of hubris, greed, envy, manipulation, whatever your vice is, and every skinny cow, you're making the thread thinner if you do the work. Thinner, 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 thinner. And does anyone know what the Bible says about when you're going to die, what gets cut?
Yeah, the hearing? No.
Something gets cut when you leave the body.
Your spirit?
The silver cord.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so think of it like the halo with like a silver cord, and it's connected to your, I don't know, your subconscious. This thread is the wound. This cord is the wound. And you don't get rid of it. It's what the parents gave you at conception until you die. And this is why it's Chiron. This is why in Hercules, the movie, in Disney version, he has Phil. Phil is the Chiron image. And in Percy Jackson, Pierce Brosnan is the Chiron image. So this is the most important axis. A9 intellectual. Okay, go back to 511. People have difficulty with this one, especially when I have students, they never really understand. This is whatever you create that comes out of transforming the beast. Sometimes it's a real child. Sometimes it's a book. Sometimes it's art. Sometimes it's a not-for-profit. Whatever you create. This is creation, and this is the axis of love. Not pandemic love, Uranian love. The 5th house has to do with that person's love of real 4th chakra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right here. Marsha wants justice. She wants equality, she wants justice, she wants to redeem perhaps her childhood, who knows? You can have a conversation. So if you pick just the 5th house, you can now say, oh, the 5th house means, or this card signifies what you really, really love. Can you tell me, Marsha, what you love about justice or what justice means to you? Can you define that word for me in measurable terms? You see how I'm using the steps of the model? And I can pick in at any time the model. I asked her earlier about needs. I asked her about values. Mother, father, you don't have to do anything in order. This is my theory. If you're using Maslow, can you tell me about your survival or what it is that you weren't, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, just because you're a psych student, you know them, or what it would mean to be self-actualized? Would that be justice? Do you see how you can take any theory and ask a question in that format? I'm not asking you to answer them. I'm just showing, demonstrating.
I'm thinking in my mind.
I'm just demonstrating the use of why we have theory and how to integrate it to practice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you don't have to go in order. It's just a dialogue. And if you need a little cheat sheet of questions, have them. Who cares? No one said, hell, have posters with all the questions on them. It doesn't matter. The client is there to
Just
talk.
go around the room.
Exactly.
Right here.
Or you have a whiteboard like me, and you teach during your session. I have a huge whiteboard in my house, on wheels. Oh, by the way, I'm moving again, right down the street. I just moved.
You did?
No, I just moved,
No, I know
not
you just
even 2
moved.
months ago.
Yeah.
I'm moving down the street to
Oh,
the
you're like
Altus
me.
right
You're
here.
definitely like
That's
me.
nice.
Jesus.
It's
I
nice.
move October 9th,
It's nice.
That's
because
good
I
though,
need to be
'cause-
close to here.
Yeah.
Because if I'm sick or whatever, I could just go home.
Yeah.
And I don't have a 30-minute drive. I mean, the reality is that it's just gonna get worse.
Right.
So I figured I'm right here, and even if it's just to teach and sit and talk, I can, it just makes life easier. It was really worth it. I don't know why I said that.
Is it a nice place?
It's beautiful. Oh, I was telling my mom, I said, why do you think I move in threes? Because I move in threes. I used to live in Marina Bay, then I went to San Michelle, then I went to Lakeview. I moved in threes. And now, my third move will be when I finally probably end up buying something after the cancer or whatever. And I said, because in 6th grade, I went to 3 different schools. And she's like, well, you went to a different school every year. I said, I know.
Me too.
But I went, and then eventually, the 10th grade, I stayed for 3 years in the high school. Back then, high school was 3 years. So I have this pattern of moving in threes. And so all I'm doing is condensing what I did in my skinny cow 15 years ago, where I moved year, now I move 3 months. But I will be here more than 3 months. But you see how we repeat the patterns? And if you can identify that that's just a beast, now you ask yourself, does that beast bother you? It doesn't bother me, but a Taurus, although you're a Taurus and you've moved a lot. My mother, to move out of her house, oh my God, it took forever. Then she was 2 years with my sister, and now out of this house, who knows how long she'll be there. Even though she wants to be closer to me, she lives near the Metro Zoo. Because it's a Taurus and it's a slower. So if the beast isn't bothering you, that's where my impatience is actually positive. The fact that I am impulsive or the fact that I can make rash, harsh, fast decisions is not always bad. Every beast has a positive. And if you can educate your client to where, and this is a very important therapeutic question, write this down. Where has this, and I'm just going to put beast, but you can tell your client issue or whatever, served you? This is super, super, super important question to ask clients. When they're beating themselves up about being perhaps overweight, where has it served you, Marcia, to be overweight or to not have a body image that you're super proud of?
Where did it serve me? Like, where was it?
Perhaps it kept you safe. Perhaps the girth protected you.
No.
Perhaps you didn't feel good about yourself, so you had less sex. I don't know.
More like it just helped me in the sense of, for a while there, I didn't, well, I would say I still get the same attention, but it was just a little bit less.
Okay.
Like, I
You
feel
mean
less
sexual
even though
attention?
everybody says it's the same, and I know it's similar,
You got
but
everybody.
I just ignore it.
You
But
say that
before,
it
it was
feels
just
less.
annoying
Okay.
all my life.
And what is that? Why does it serve her to have some extra weight and get less attention?
She's not objectionalized,
And who was objectionalized and taught her to do that?
her mom.
Her mom.
Yeah, I was kicked out for it.
So,
Because my mom got pissed that her boyfriend was always looking at me.
see that?
I couldn't walk around the house with shorts or shirt or like sports bras. Like I was like a Leah. I would always wear sports bras and show my belly, and I was always with baggy pants. I dressed like a boy, but I was like, like
But
a
you're
girl.
sexy.
Yeah.
So do you see why she's so confused about the surgery? She has the confusion externally of pleasing the others and pretending. The mask that she wore when she was on the street to survive. Pretend my mom and my husband are right and act confused. That's one theme. That's one layer, one mask. But then there's the real confusion. Oh fuck, I don't want to be like my mother. I don't want to have a hot body and get kicked out again. Now it might be my husband kicks me out. Because what if men start paying attention to me?
Oh, here gets that.
Yeah.
So you see how the same thread follows us through life. And all we're doing is transforming and transforming and transforming it. And it's not until death that you will eliminate this. But there has to be a reason that it served you. I'm going to tell you a story about my weight issues. I just want to look at the time.
Oh, 11:20.
Okay, so I'll tell you this story. I'll quickly go through the 11, 12, and then we'll do a few little throws.
Quick question. So when you ask him how the beast has served you,
Don't use the beast unless you're
But-
educated like this, how this problem has served you, or how this obesity, not you're not obese, but gain weight or whatever the word is, has served you.
and then you find like
Or promiscuity.
you find a root, like a like
They're gonna tell you where it served them, and you're gonna know that they created that because they needed to create it for some reason, and it's gonna take you to the root.
okay.
Okay, so let me tell you. My first cancer diagnosis, I decide to do it natural and healthy, and I don't, I refuse all of these chemo and radiation treatments. I heal myself, and following December, just a few months later, my friend comes over. I haven't seen this man in years. His wife had died. He's an older man. He's telling me about his new girlfriend. His new girlfriend is morbidly obese. I'm shocked that they're together. And he's a sailor, and he says, I can't even take her on the boat. She can't even get on the boat. And at that moment, I realized why being overweight my whole life served me. I was trying to die. But I wasn't going to kill myself because I'm not suicidal. So the best way was to put on weight so I wouldn't get attention, so I would always have an excuse to wear black, so I would always, black is symbolic of death, not in every culture, that's just in mine, So remember, you want to always ask cultures. There are some cultures where you wear white to death. That's the personal mythology. Don't assume, ask questions. And I realized that that was why I put on the weight, because then I wouldn't be able to do fun activities. I wouldn't get asked on a date. I did. It didn't keep me from living, but psychologically, subconsciously, I thought that I was dead. So when I realized that, I was like, oh, that's why the weight served me, and I started to lose the weight. I've never been more than 15, 20 pounds overweight, but for me, and having my mother be so body image oriented, that was obese. That was obesity. 12 pounds was obese. I mean, that was the level of intensity. This was a value in my life. So I am now in this whole death and rebirth process, where literally every cell is going to be killed and regenerated. So that didn't work. I had to create this level of illness, this level of intensity. So where is my cancer serving me? To literally kill off the threat so that I could be reborn. I don't recommend that anyone take this so literally the way I do, because I'm a psychopath. But that's what we're doing when we ask a client, where has your promiscuity served you? Where has your promiscuity served you? To pay my bills. So you know that it's a self-worth issue because it's related to money. That's it. They tell you the answer. And you make them think. Make your clients work. You cannot work harder than your clients. So have them. If they say, I don't know, think about it. And if you don't want to stay in silence for 10 minutes because it's awkward or uncomfortable and you don't feel you could do it, send it for homework. Have them think about it. They know the answer. Everyone knows their beast. All we are doing 24/7 is trying to hide the beast so no one gets to see it. Okay? As the beast was passing by. Okay. 6 is work, health, animals. 7 is marriage, close friends. 8 we discussed. 9 I told you is education, but it's more like college, and this is more like middle school and elementary. And high school. 10 we talked about. 11, this is social groups. This is anything that is an ism. Communism, socialism, Marxism. So, give me liberty or give me death. This is liberty, and this is lack of it, let's say. This is democracy per se, and this is communism. Anything that is the group bigger than the individual is in the 11th house. This is the not-for-profits. These are the people that love to work at the yoga for cancer institutions or things like that.
I'm sorry, what does it say right above creation?
Transforming beast,
Oh, okay.
because you're gonna take your beast,